So right at the top here in this first segment, I wanted to talk about our statistics, sales statistics, sort of what's happening in the area. Those of you that are regular listeners to the show are pretty well up to speed on these different items. But I just sort of wanted to share with you. And I'm going to bring Redmond into the discussion a little bit more because, Redmond seems to have a little bit more impact on what is happening in the sales mix of Central Oregon, if you will. And pretty much right across the board, we're still seeing a time of relatively low inventory. And with that, even though we have had declining numbers of overall sales, particularly like here in the Bend area, Bend actually still accounts for, a very high percentage of the number of total sales in the area. But at a high for the month of August, for instance, I think our absolute high was around 290 sales that we had in June. And then it settled down to about 245 in August, 225 September, 194 in August, and then all the way down to 141 for the month of November. So you can see that's just total sales. That doesn't count all properties in all segments. That doesn't count the acreage properties, but that's just the total number of sales in the city of Bend. And conversely, it's kind of interesting. Sisters had 9 sales that month. Sun River had 18. Lapine had 9. Jefferson County had 13. Crook County has 16. So you can see in the total number of sales in the overall sales mix, Bend really accounts and drives a fair number of that. The number of sales in Redmond, however, were at 70, and proportionally, the one interesting, very, very interesting thing that is happening there, I think that, there's been a lot of discussion about affordable housing, what affordable housing really is, what is that price point, how it's affected by a number of different things. But for our discussion here today, one of the notable things that came out in the November statistics was that under $200,000 for the month of November, Bend did not have any sales. There were no single-family homes that sold for that price point. However, under $200,000 in Redmond, there were 25 homes that sold for that. So you can see that if the total number of sales in the Redmond market is 70 and 25 of them are under 200,000, what we're seeing is in that price point, if you will, between 150 and 250, where that sector of the market has fairly much evaporated, I guess would be a word to use. It's non-existent in the city of Bend. And for a number of reasons, scarcity of land, high SDCs, high replacement costs, and demand, what a ready, willing, and able buyer is willing to pay, we're seeing that for those people that want to take advantage of the low interest rates and want to explore home ownership and can qualify in that price point in the high 100s, low 200s, they're actually finding that selection can be found in Redmond when it's not in the Bend market. So we'll touch on a few of these different issues. So the one thing that we can see and we can reasonably surmise by the amount of properties is that pending properties are outpacing new properties that are coming on the market at this time of year. So what that means is that once again, sort of as we roll over after the holidays, we'll start the season with a little bit of scarcity. So there's going to be a little bit of hype about, multiple offers and all that sort of thing, because basically what we have is very few properties and a number of people that would like to buy them. And everybody that remembers Econ 101 when your professor was drawing supply curves and demand curves, basically if there's little supply and there's a lot of demand, that starts to put a lot of pressure on the market. So we're seeing that the market's really, in some respects, relatively balanced in that in the higher range of the market, we're seeing not much appreciation. We are seeing a shift in the city of Bend to where there's more activity in that price point, sort of above 350, between 350 and 550, if you will, than there has been in recent years. So we're seeing a little bit of a shift. And the new homes that are being constructed are kind of constructed in that mid 350 range. So we're not seeing a lot of affordable entry-level homes being built in Bend. We'll talk about that more when we get back after the break. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talk Real Estate with Fred Johnson, and I'll look forward to talking to you real soon. Thanks again.